So, good day everyone. We are the group 2 and we'll be discussing the repetitive tasks, task design, and risk assessment. First, physiological and psychological is the aspect is the primary concern with boredom when work is repetitive. So, this is the primary concept or aspect when it comes to boredom in work. The mind usually will wander off and hiss a formula for mistakes and errors. So this will be lead or the formulations of the mistakes and errors that you will be encounter in works. These shortcomings can translate into injuries and poor of quality products. So when you are encounter this kind of problems, it can conclude or it can produce a not good quality product, or let's have to say poor quality product. Second, physical. So in this aspect of the environment is this is the source of hazards. It can be form of falls, slips, and strips, exposure to extreme sound, and height of work surface. So all of this output of strain on work's body of workers' body, the common physical hazards are summarized into 5 main categories. So the importance of risk assessment in the hospitality tourism industry is first accidents. The most the number one risk in hospitality industry is the accidents. Accidents are unplanned, unexpected, or unpredictable events that may result into damage of property, equipment, or even loss of life. Second, hazards are potential incidents that may cause harm. So hazard is the elements that can cause harm to everyone. Risk. Risk is the third important assessment in hospitality industry. Why? Are the existence of negative incidents that may result from hazard. So these risks are the negative accidents that may result into hazards. So the next reporter will be Osorno Binji, and he'll be continue the reporting.
Good day everyone, I'm Biju Sorno. I will discuss about the general tasks for hospitality and tourism facilities. Manual handling. These are the areas involved in several manual movement. First is the restaurant, kitchen, housekeeping, laundry, and engineering and maintenance. The other are several activities that include manual labor in the hotel. These are vacuuming, cleaning of rooms, making beds, maneuvering trolleys and solid linens, and carrying boxes and tray. Because manual handling training gives employee the skills to safely undertake manual handling tasks, reducing the risk of injury and participants to ensure they are working safely, comfortable, and productivity at work. Munang importante gyud ang mga personnel are trained with the proper ways and postures in carrying out these manual activities. Next is movements and maneuvers. There are several motion involved in delivering goods and services in the hospitality and tourism industry. These movements and maneuvering cause a lot of stress in the muscles, and these trains can be source of trips, slips, and falls. Now, Sagaran ani mga accident are often seen in slippery kitchen floors and areas where there are uneven evolutions of tears in the floor coverings. Next is operating machinery and equipment. Machinery and equipment to be offered have at least one of several moving parts. The movement of the parts creates sufficient motion that cause injury to people. And machinery and equipment are in the kitchen, laundry area, and storage rooms. Nang sa tanang mga machinery equipment kay that can cause of strains of sprains, cuts, and fractures. Nang di yung balikayan basta arat sa mga areas nga na mga machinery mo ng pag-amping. Next is exposures to hazardous and dangerous goods. The most common source of this kind of hazard are chemical cleaning agents. The substances are from cleaning agents such as detergent, cleaning paste, and fluids, and air fresheners. The other sources are material used in refurbishing the space and furniture such as paints, adhesives, soldering, and welding rods, and other substances used in constructions. Now, it is important use personal protective equipment such as masks and gloves and goggles and the right clothing and footwear for the safety of the employees that can sight in these activities. Kay kaning mga chemical cleaning or cleaning agents kay can be inhaled or ingested or observed through contact by the workers and staff ng gamit kita PPE. Next is electrical risk. The most common source of electrical risk is from electrical cords that are damaged and frayed. Overload of outlets and water leaks can also be a source of electric risk. Yani sa tanan gid nga most of the company use mga electrical power kay puros man gamit og mga machines manang careful samot na sa mga leak nga mga leak nga wires or tubig dapat use gamit ta og PPE to when handling both mechanical and electrical equipment should be protocol in the industry. Now, careful while cleaning the mga machinery equipment kay nighttime nga mag-leak na sila. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, this is Eliza Marie Menyoza. Extreme environmental conditions. The temperature of the workspace may result in heat stress, heat stroke, and even hypothermia. Heat stress does not only occur when people are working under the sun. This is also prevalent in working areas such as the kitchen, laundry, and the boiler room. Heat stress can cause excessive sweating that may lead to heat stroke. Hypothermia can also cause loss of consciousness and is preceded by shivering, slurred speech, and shallow, slow breathing. So this became alarming if the person falls and suffers a concussion. When someone is suffering from heat stress, immediately transfer the person out the heat and move under a shaded area or into an air-conditioned room. The next one is exposure to loud noises. So people working in the hospitality and in tourism industry involved in entertainment such as the nightclubs and bars are exposed to hazardous levels of sound, which is referred to as a noise. These conditions are also apparent to the workers and staff involved. with working with equipment that creates high decibels of sounds like vacuum cleaners and machines in the boiler room. So, this exposure to loud noises, the constant and prolonged exposure to high levels of noise may cause permanent learning damage. Hearing damage, like mabungol ka. The next one is cash handling. So, commerce over the past decades mooted the use of credit cards and the checking accounts for cashless transactions. With the advent for new applications, it has become more accessible to the public. However, using cash cannot be totally removed in business transactions, including the hospitality and tourism industry. So the staff are prone to robbery and mugging. Ideally, banks get the cash in the facilities, but sometimes this would not be possible. Being discreet in handling and counting large amounts of cash avoids transaction from robbers. Security alarms and cameras deter robbery. So, security alarms and cameras should be active in case of kanang na mga robbery, mga what. It is also important to hire responsible and trustworthy people. So, the next one is crashes and collisions. Crashes and collisions, these are vehicular accidents that may be caused by crashes and collisions. This becomes apparent in transporting goods and guests from airports to their accommodations and other points of destinations. A driver without sufficient rest is one of the major causes of human error that causes accidents. Overloading of passengers and vehicles that are not roadworthy are also factor vehicular mishaps. So kasagaran na madagan kayong mga accident tungod rapod sa driver. It may be because they stress, nahubog, even kulang sila sa tulog. So the last one is work violence, sexual harassment, and stress. Work violence and forms of harassment is an unfortunate reality in most of not all industries. This event becomes more apparent in the service sector such as the hospitality and tourism industry. The negative repercussions of this include psychological injuries that may cause breakdowns and at a certain point physical injuries. So the stress in this industry is compounded because of the number of people involved and the diversity among them, which sometimes cause conflicts. Defensible space is a design theory explicated by Oscar Newman in 1976 to address the escalating crime rate in high-rise housing projects over the years. There were several theorists and designers who worked on this theory, which includes the Guidelines on Crime Prevention through Environmental Design. That is the CPTED. So the same concepts can be applied in interior space of facilities, which include the hospitality and tourism industry. So with the same concepts can be applied in interior spaces of facilities, which include the hospitality and tourism industry.
Hi ma'am, my name is Elijah Mary Lucas, so I will continue the report. The design of spaces may not completely eradicate problems in workplace violence and sexual harassment, but may reduce these incidents by considering the following design consideration. So first would be the location of sitting areas, lounges, locker rooms, changing areas, and washrooms. The sitting areas, both inside and out, the facilities must encourage natural surveillance and provide clear sight of lines in multiple directions. So the purpose of natural surveillance limits the opportunity for crime by taking steps to increase the perception that people can be seen. It occurs by designing the placement of physical features, activities, and people in such a way as to maximize visibility and foster positive social interaction. Next would be line of vision. The security officers and concierge staff should have an unobstructed line of vision from their workstations. The channels of communication within and among the staff must be known both by procedure and must be physically unhampered. So the security officers and concierge staff must be very mindful of guests who's in and out of the hotel or establishment for safety purposes. The third one would be decrease of dead ends and entrapment areas. Loading and unloading areas should be well lighted. Service areas should be lockable and properly monitored by securities officers. Public phones and ATMs should be located in areas of high traffic, far from dead ends and entrapment areas. And the last one would be signage. Defining wayfinding and proper signage must be posted in the lounges, locker rooms, and changing areas, and washroom. So, signage is important so that the guests can easily identify where and which way to go. That's all, Mom.
So for the continuation of the group, so I will be the one who discuss the letter E, which is the lighting and surveillance in the parking area. So studies show a high probability of crimes in parking areas. Parking areas both on the surface above floors and the basement area should be adequately have a clear sight of vision and free from areas of entrapment and dead end. So it is very important to have the surveillance in the parking area, which is kanang this place is migaw jud siya, especially when there is a big possibility that there will be a murder and crime happening in that specific area. So next is the letter F, access to fire exit and the rooftop. Fire exit should never be used as an alternative access way aside for emergency reasons. The rooftop should not be accessible to the public if it is being used as a service area for a mechanical equipment. So, in the hotel or the restaurant or any establishment, it is very important to have a fire exit, especially in the rooftop, because kanang di na jud nato malikayan nga naay mga kalamidad yung mahitabo. So, at least, if ever this is a calamity happened, we have a fire exit nga pwede na tong magian, and then to protect also our guests and the customer. So, next is the letter G, which is the utilization of security sensors and surveillance equipment. So, the use of formal electrical and mechanical surveillance equipment for areas with limited traffic and minimum vision access should be considered. So that's for all of my report, and then thank you.